Poland Independence Day, 1,000 years of Polish victories. Dear brothers and sisters, November 11th is Poland Independence Day, commemorating the country's return to the map in 1918. After 123 years of partition, it is a national holiday, so school, offices, and many shops are closed. Polish flags appears on balconies, streets, and public buildings, creating a sea of white and red. In cities, official ceremonies, speeches, and military displays take place. Many people attend services to pray for the homeland and those who fought for its freedom. Families often spend the day together, watching events on television or attending local parades and concerts. Poland was reborn after 123 years of absence from the map. Can you imagine living on this day? After more than a century of partition by Russia, Prussia, and Austria, Poland stood proud and free again. For generations, Polish hearts dreamed of this day, and it finally came true. Let us never forget the efforts it took to bring Poland back to life. On Independence Day, the President honored Przemysław Babiarz with the Officer's Cross of the Order of Polonia Restituta. In English, we say that life is difficult, but in poetry we say that some days I crawl, some days I flourish, but each day I rise again because my heart refuses to abandon me. The Independence March is one of the largest right-wing demonstrations in Europe. The annual Independence March in Warsaw, held to mark the anniversary of Poland regaining independence, has become one of the most significant events for the political rights worldwide. Some point to its growing importance and the controversy it generates both at home and abroad. However, the November 11th March, whose tradition dates back to the communist era and the patriotic demonstrations of the 1980s, has changed in character since 2011 and slipped, others argue. Far-right organizations such as the All Polish Youth, Młodzież Wszechpolska, and the National Radical Camp took control of the event. Since then, the demonstrations has become a platform for nationalist and anti-European slogans, also attracting nationalist groups from other European countries. Currently, the march is organized by an association that pledged to defend Polish identity, sovereignty, and Christian values. The march attracts both those demonstrating patriotism and right-wing radicals, anti-abortionists, homophobes, and anti-Semites, whose belligerent behavior and hateful slogans are leaving their mark on the demonstration's image. In Gdańsk, which I visited for the past 3 days, the first Independence Parade took place in 2003. It was the first civic and grassroots celebration of the national holiday in Free Poland with an open and joyful character. On November 11th, the holiday celebrations directly refer to the independent patriotic demonstrations organized by the anti-communist opposition in Gdańsk since the late 1970s. Hence, for many years, the parade ended at the John Sobieski III Monument. Now, however, we march all the way to Długi Targ, to the Green Gate. In Krakow, the 107th anniversary of Poland regaining independence, which fell on Tuesday, is an invitation to join in the celebration. Above all, we wanted to pay tribute to the fathers of independence and those who, over the centuries, strive to keep our homeland free and independent. Reflecting on events in Poland's history, we wish to celebrate contemporary goodness and contribute to the country's continued development. A patriotic march, a changing of the guard of honor at the tomb of the unknown soldier in Jan Matejko Square in Krakow, a salute of honor and traditional parade, as well as peace soup and a mobile shooting range, all part of Krakow's celebrations of National Independence Day. On November 11th, 2025, a unique holiday in Poznań in Poland took place for the 31st time, the St. Martin Street Name Day. As in previous years, this year's edition was guided by the slogan, "Do Good." In Częstochowa city on November 11th, the city recalled that Poland's return to the world map after 223 years of partition is a commitment to constant care for the community and respect for our history. During the events planned in Poland, there was no shortage of symbolic expressions of our gratitude, but also opportunities for family celebrations. Julian Tuwim, poet, said, "I am Polish because I like it that way. This is my strictly private matter, which I have no intention of reporting to anyone, no explaining, justifying on Polish because I was born in Poland, grew up, raised and learned in Poland, because I was happy and unhappy in Poland, because I desperately want to return to Poland from exile, even if I were assured of heavenly pleasures elsewhere. Polish because that's what was said to me in my parents' home in Polish, because I was fed the Polish language there from infancy, because my mother taught me Polish poems and songs, because when the first shock in poetry came, it was released in Polish words, because what has become most important in life, poetic creativity, is unthinkable in any other language, no matter how fluent I may be in it. Polish, because in Polish I confessed the anxieties of my first love, and in Polish I babbled about its happiness and storms. Polish, therefore, I also find birch and willow closer to me than palm and cypress, and Mickiewicz and Chopin more dear than Shakespeare and Beethoven, more dear for reasons that again I can't justify with any reason. Polish, because I adopted a certain number of the national flaws from Poles. But above all, Polish because I like it that way. Beloved, I free, independent and sovereign Poland is our commitment. This is what this holiday is about, President Karol Nawrocki said on Tuesday at Piłsudski Square. He emphasized that independence also means social justice. Prime Minister Donald Tusk, who celebrated in Gdańsk on November 11th, argued that no one has a monopoly of patriotism. He also said, "We are community." But I saw the entire Polish nation everywhere again. I saw love. At first sight in your eyes, suddenly the world began to spin. We just looked at each other. And happiness began. Such a long dream ended. The dream of shared happiness became a reality. It was a day like any other, and as usual, I returned home alone. It was a coincidence that we met. Now my life is completely different. I saw love. At first sight in your eyes. Suddenly the world began to spin. We just looked at each other and happiness began. Such a long dream ended. The dream of shared happiness became a reality.